There's exceptions to every rule, but by and large, people that have been in the military, they understand teamwork, they understand knowing who's got your back.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that stays with you your whole life.
Yeah.
And you know, people that haven't been in the military don't really quite understand that.
Yeah, I had a lesson a while back about the price that's paid. I was in the lobby of the Portland VA, and it was early in the morning, and there was a guy down there with an aide walking around, and I was talking with a couple Marines about a surgery they were going to have, and the guy came over and he said, "Oh, you were a corpsman?" I said, "Yeah," and he said, "I was a corpsman too," and he told me his story. He was in the withdrawal of the Chosin Reservoir in the 52, 53, right. And he was a corpsman. He was attacking some Marines, and he got hit in the head by a piece of shrapnel and in the body, and it took him out, and he was evac. And in 1974, when they removed a drain from his head and replaced it, when he came out of the surgery, he woke up, and he still thought it was 1953, and he was in the Chosin.
Oh, really?
And he woke up in a VA hospital in Long Beach, and he'd never seen a color TV, never seen an afro, never seen a miniskirt.
That's amazing.
And they had to reacclimatize him. And he's under the care of the VA. He has a caregiver, and he comes and goes. You know, he lives in Portland. But I sat and talked to him for an hour and a half about his experiences. But, you know, you talk about the price you pay. It's not always a gravesite, lonely gravesite on a hillside in Korea or in Vietnam, or an MIA sign. It's that kind of medical situation. And I've worked with people that have been in those situations.
You know, and it's funny because in this day and age where we've got so many people out there that are falling all over each other trying to convince us that they were great war heroes in Vietnam or the Mideast or whatever, that oftentimes either weren't even in the military or were in some rear echelon job. The people that were actually there, that were actually doing the deed, they don't talk about it much.
You know, I met the most unassuming Marine when I ran the clinic at Edson Range for 18 months where the Marines come up for rifle range training.
Right.
I met the most unassuming man I ever met in my life. And it wasn't until later I figured out who he was. His name was Carlos Pavka. and he liked me, and I liked him, and he liked Corwin, and we got to talking, and I had a few beers with him, but he never talked about what he'd done. But I had a Marine rifle range instructor tell me later who he was and what he'd done. And that guy with a little Model 70 literally wiped out a whole Marine NBA company in a river.
Yeah.
Killed them all.
Yeah, in fact, I watched a reenactment of that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think there's a History Channel that did a reenactment of that.
Yeah.
And I think he said that, I pulled the trigger 17 times, and 17 of the enemy are no longer with us.
Yeah,